and we are on the red carpet at the Hangout Marketing Intensive, and with me is the legendary, the great, and the wonderful Mr. Ted Thomas, who is so nice to stop by and talk to us. Thank you so much, Ted, for being here.
Well, it's nice to be here. It's a great event. Alex really does a great job when he does an event, so everybody that comes gets more than their money's worth, that's for sure.
I just found out off camera that you're 75 years, almost 75 years young.
That's right.
And you're still traveling about and speaking. So tell me, what's your secret sauce?
Secret sauce is I found things I like to do, and if you find out something you like to do, you don't mind working. The only part of life that's difficult for me is getting on some of those airplanes. That's the only hard part, and that's tough for everybody nowadays with all the security and so on. But I like working, and I found something I really love to do.
Well, I'd like to, if you don't mind, kind of go through the time frame of how you got started, because it's very difficult for somebody to grasp this sort of success. So tell me kind of like where you started and how it all progressed.
Okay, well, I was an air traffic controller, actually, and then I finally became a pilot, and I flew for a lot of years. As a matter of fact, I flew for the airlines in Honolulu, Hawaii, and that was good. But that's a very regimented life, as you can imagine. It's very serious, and it's fun to do, but it can get very boring. And then I discovered business, and that's what changes your whole life. Now, business is more difficult, and you have to think a lot more, but the rewards are great. And so I found out what the rewards were, and I could make a lot of money that way. And it's fun to make money, even if you give it away. Now, at my stage in life, I'm going to give it away, that's for sure. But it's a lot of fun to make money. So business is good, and if you can find some part of the business you like, well, then you're really off and running.
What was your first business that you created?
First business I created was actually a flying school. I created a school to fly, but I transitioned into real estate, commercial real estate, things like apartments and office buildings and things like that. And I grew a big company. That was very good. And of course, those big companies have their ups and downs, you know. And so I had a few of those. Wasn't always successful. But when it didn't work, then you learn more. You learn more from your failure than you ever do from going to class. You go to class, you get it, you write it all down. Oh, I'll never make those mistakes. You make your own. They're even better than the poor guy that was teaching the class. But anyway, business it's alive, and it's alive every day, and it changes every day, and that's what I like.
So can you recall when, and I know that money is just a portion of business, but do you remember the time that you made your first million? Do you remember? Do you?
Yes.
Take me back.
Yes. Okay. The first time I ever did it in one year's time was in the real estate business when I was buying apartment properties in Phoenix, Arizona, of all places. And we bought the properties, and in those days we rehabilitated them. In other words, we went and put new carpet in, new sinks and things like that, and made them a much nicer building. As soon as you can make a building nice, you can raise the rent. When you raise the rent, then that's a multiple of that. So let's say you raise the rent $3,000, you multiply that times 8 or 9, and that's what the real value was. So you went up $3,000, now you just created $24,000 or $25,000 in value. Well, imagine having a 300-unit apartment house and you raise the rent. So you do that 2 or 3 times in a year in a good market, and you might make $1 million on one building.
What did you do how did you celebrate when you saw I made $1 million?
We didn't do anything extra, went to dinner and things like that. It wasn't anything that we didn't fly off to Europe. But there was a time in my life when I kept a home in Switzerland on Lake Lucerne, so that was kind of nice. So I could travel and do what I wanted to do. But it wasn't like, oh, we're going to stop and we're done and we can just go retire. It was something, it was just another step up the ladder.
So as you're looking back, and I want to speak to the business owners and the entrepreneurs that have been knocked down, got back up, been knocked down, and got back up, because I think those are the people that tremendous success comes from, and they're the ones that are building large companies and employing people. So talk to those people that need that encouragement. How do they get back up? What is your advice to them?
Well, the advice is you just have to keep at it. And there's a word, persevere. And you just got to keep at it. There's no special one thing that you're going to do. You have to say, look, I'm either going to go down, because if you stop working hard, you will go down. You're either going to go down or you're going to keep working at it. People that will keep working at it and not get discouraged, and try not to point the finger. So you point the finger at everybody else. It's not anybody else's fault. If it's screwed up, it's your fault, right? Now, I've been in situations where I lost millions of dollars, and that was a result of the market changed. But why didn't I see the market change? Because I was so narrowly focused on just doing this that I didn't take the time to say, wait a minute, this market's changing. I mean, I was wearing blinders like a horse does. You're wearing blinders. So I couldn't point to, oh, the market changed. I'm not a bad guy. I was a bad guy because I didn't pay attention. And I should have looked. When things happen to people, there's a reason that it happened. And it's probably because your vision isn't not scanning out. It's just narrowly focused. So I'm not negative on people in any way, but anybody that goes down, they should take that and just say it's a lesson.
Okay.
unfortunately, they lose their car and their house and everything else. So they're in destitute straits in many times. But they just got to say, I got to get back. And that's why they made welfare. They made welfare for people to start it again and go get started again.
I love it. That's why you are where you are today.
Exactly.
So any closing words of wisdom?
Closing words of wisdom, just work at it. The market really is on your side. You live in America, or you live in North America, I should say, and if you do, you can make it here. You just have to decide you're going to make it. Now, making it for you might be something different from me, but make it so you can take care of your family. You're going to give all the money away anyway. You're not taking it with you.